Hello, everyone. This is Kendall Askins from Stimulating Minds. Askins stimulates on all of our social media platforms, and I'm joining you another day with another Rethinking Math. And today, I want to talk to you guys about mathematics being a language. So, all of us, every single one of us, speak at least one language, right? And typically, with our first language, we don't really pay attention to how we learn that language. It's like we're born. Our parents speak the language. And so from the very moment that we're even being conceived or growing, we're hearing, that language, right? And when we come out, they're speaking that language to us. As we grow, we might start seeing that language. And there are different components to learning a language, right? You have the actual speaking part. There's reading the language, and then there's being able to write the language. And as I was growing and getting older, I realized that even in school, right? Think about it. English is my first language. There is a subject, English, right? In school where even though it's our first language, we still learn how to read, write, think, explore concepts, ideas in that language. And it progresses over a time period, right? So from the time we first get in all the way through. But the difference is that with English, there's a head start. Usually, at the minimum, when we go into school, we can speak the language, right? Even if we don't know how to write the letters, even if we don't recognize all the sounds, even if we don't know how to put sentences together, we can at the minimum speak. So there's a drastic head start. And then there are times where we learn a second language in school. For me, I took Spanish and I took Latin. And when I think about the progression of when I was in those classes in the beginning levels, all the way till when I got to the more advanced levels, in those classes, they start very, very basic, right? They teach you the alphabet, right? And then they teach you the sounds. Then they teach you basic words to be able to recognize things, how to talk like family members, right? All of those things that you would be learning at home, just being immersed in that original language. So this got me thinking, right? And when we think about mathematics has all of those components, right? There's specific vocabulary words that we use in mathematics to describe particular things. There is ways that we need to talk about it. There's concepts that we need to understand, right? All of these things, there's things that we need to be able to write out and explain. All of that is indicative of it being a language. Now imagine being thrown into a language and not having any of those foundational skills, not understanding the vocabulary, not knowing, right? And we have a lot of people that experience this with English maybe being their second language or, a language that they had to learn. And so it becomes extremely difficult, right? If you have no idea what some of the foundational things or you don't understand that progression, it becomes extremely difficult to follow along. You might get nervous about speaking out loud. You might get nervous about sharing with other people that you don't understand something. And that's exactly what's happening with math. And I want to challenge us in this day and age to begin to think about it like a language and to treat it as such, right? Giving ourselves grace, but also for those of us that speak the language of mathematics and that truly understand, know that when we're speaking to other people in that language, they might not fully understand. And so how should we begin to communicate? And so as educators, when we're working with our students, I remember in my classroom, one of the things, whenever I would introduce a new topic, the very first lesson of any new topic, we went through the vocabulary for that lesson. And then I would assign different students would create vocabulary cards that we would hang up in the back of the room on our vocabulary wall. And whenever we would use the language or be using those new words, I would ask them do you remember this word? And if they didn't, they knew they could go to that back wall, look at the word and understand the context, right? And so there was always reference points for them in their math language. And when we were in the math classroom, we spoke like mathematicians. We used our math vocabulary. We made sure that we were speaking in full sentences to express ourselves. And these are the same requirements that we have in any language. And so I want you to remember, math is a language, and just because you don't understand the language doesn't mean that you can't learn the language. There are foundational things to do to learn that language. And I encourage you, whether you're an educator, whether you're a student, whether you're a parent, to think about mathematics in this way. So who's ready to learn this language with me? If you are, drop ready in the comments below or reach out on any of our platforms and we'll get started. See you back here next week for more fun. Bye.